Hi guys, welcome back. So what we've got on the bench today is, I believe, a Mamod SE for Stationary Engine 3. This is the two-cylinder top-end version. I've got an SE2 and an SE1 in my collection of old Mamods. This one's not mine, of course, but has come to me as part of a box. There's 3 or 4 different steam engines in that box that need to be restored, so they'll be coming up very soon. If this is your kind of thing, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when they do drop. Now, this one is, to all intents and purposes, just needs a clean and some new gaskets, I think. It seems to be in fantastic condition. It has a sticker on here that says Griffin and George Limited, which is consistent with the source of this. So the gentleman that's passed these to me to be restored used to be a lab technician in a local grammar school here in sunny Belfast, and these are, I imagine, things that would have been used in science lessons to explain the principles of steam expansion and so on. So anyway, there we go. So it hasn't been used for a long time. Just looking around it, you can see the gasket on the top here. Let me zoom you in just to show you that. Gasket on the top is completely destroyed. I'll zoom you in even further. The rubber O-ring around the top here, you can see, is cracked, so that's completely useless. That needs to be flexible. In fact, just by turning the flywheel here, I can actually get it to squirt some of the water from the cylinder back out of that. Okay, so straight away that will be losing a huge amount of pressure. So that is a really easy fix. We just need to put a new rubber O-ring in there. New gasket on the bottom. I note that the steam whistle, let me zoom you back out here, the steam whistle is in the wrong position. Now what happens with these gaskets here is they get tightened up tighter and tighter and tighter over the years, and they end up in the wrong place. So the factory fitted ones, generally there are 2 on there, one to provide the seal, and then a thinner one of varying thickness to actually make sure that when you wind it into its maximum extent, it's in the right position. So I have some of those in my box of bits. We'll dig those out. Looking at the end here, the gasket on the fill port is in a similarly dilapidated condition, and that's completely seized. So let's pry this apart. I'll speed on through this, but just to get this going, there's really only one other thing that we need to beat, and that's friction. So I should be oiling the usual spots. Obviously here, there's no bearings in these, it's just a pressed metal plate. So that needs oil on the axle, oil on the crank pins. Okay, now you may not have seen this before, but there are some little fibre pads in here and here, so that's an oil port that keep the back of the trunnion assembly here oiled. You can drop a bit of oil down that gap there as well. Of course, this is going to be moving up and down, so we don't want any friction on that mating surface there. And of course we need to lubricate the cylinder, which is almost certainly going to be corroded inside, and the way that you do that, by pressing the trunnion pin on the back, basically prise that off the end of the crank pin and pull it out. Now it's important to keep these in the same orientation, but I shall polish that up with some Brasso, get some oil in there, and hopefully we can beat friction in the cylinder as well. Okay, so that's the order of events. We shall as I say, speed on through the majority of this and see if we can get it fired up. Okay, so that is the 3 seals replaced and the O-ring replaced on top of the steam pressure relief valve. Whistle's in the right position now and nice and tight, so it's watertight. The leak we saw earlier has gone. The cylinders are a lot more smooth now. In fact, you can see that the pressure difference that's being created by the suction effect of those pistons is actually pulling them back, so that's an encouraging sign. And one of the nice things about this model, you'll notice that the steam delivery pipe goes over the top underneath before coming back up and feeding the 2 cylinders. And what that does is it kind of superheats the steam in the tube, because of course this feed pipe is going through the flame that's inside. Now, with that in mind, we need a nice long tray, and we want the tray to be towards the front, so I'm using this one, which is borrowed from another Mamod. This didn't come with them. It's the right kind, and that'll sit in there like that. As is my way, I'm going to use chaffing fuel for this, because as compared to all of the traditional fuels, the original solid fuel tablets or meths burners and so on, this stuff is much less smelly, much cleaner burning, and much hotter, so better all round. Anyway, let's get her fired up, see if she runs. I'm starting to see some bubbles coming from the oil port there. Let's give it a go. Lovely. Now you'll see some bubbles escaping here. What's causing that is, for a splash of added realism, the exhaust ports both go into the chimney here, but because it's still condensing a little on the cool cylinders there, some water is bubbling through, and that just goes down and can drip into the front of the fuel burner tray, so we'll be a bit careful about that, but that soon fades as everything warms up. Oh, that's lovely. Well, there you go guys, a very, very pleasing outcome that, considering it hasn't run for donkey's years. When you say 25, maybe 30 years, sitting in someone's roof space the whole time, that is very, very smooth running. So yeah, all it takes is a bit of lubrication, beat the friction, keep the steam in, and the rest is a foregone conclusion. So there you go, that's great. Thank you very much for watching guys. If that's been of interest to you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Plenty more content like this coming up, and I will see you next time. Cheers.